There is an ugly battle being waged at the University of Toronto. It's a battle of the sexes, and it includes allegations of hate speech, free speech, bullying, harassment, even violence. Avery Haynes is here now with tonight's Inside Story. Avery.
Gord University higher education, historically a hotbed of political activism and idealism, where new ideas are born, where debate is welcome, and where politics are challenged. So this may surprise you.
What we want at a university is not just different body types, but different viewpoints, different worldviews.
The comments hardly seem controversial.
A victim is a victim is a victim.
Two authors speak about equality in a small windowless room on campus at U of T. Their voices often drowned out by the shouts and chants from the hallway. And right outside the door, dozens of protesters try to disrupt the event.
That's the problem of a double standard, which is, double standards underlie this entire conversation.
And here's why there's such controversy. The event is sponsored by a men's rights association. The topic of the event, misandry, the discrimination against and hatred of men.
Misandry is there, so you're exposing a group to hatred.
Just 20 minutes into the discussion, the fire alarm is pulled. The crowd inside is escorted outside, where the protesters unleash venom.
And so are MRA, so get the back in your treehouse.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
I don't have a penis, that's why. That's the only reason.
It's not a logical reason.
It's not, but that's the way of the world, and you don't experience it the same way that I do every goddamn day.
Before this event started, the debate was more civil.
We do definitely have a problem with largely people who aren't part of our campus community coming on and spreading these kind of messages about hate.
I think they're misguided, but I think they're well within their rights to protest. The only time we have problems are when they become violent or commit harassment, like the group did back in November.
Ian Dwyer is referring to this.
This is what men's rights look like. This is what men's rights look like.
Violence broke out when protesters tried to stop an on-campus speech by controversial author Warren Farrell last November, a speech about the boy crisis in education.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You're scum. You are scum.
The U of T administration officially recognizes the men's rights group. The student union, on the other hand, wants them kicked off campus.
If you are only going to accept people to have their voices heard on campus, if you believe in what they're saying, then it's a dangerous game to be playing.
What we believe is that free speech ends when hate speech begins. There was a discussion about justifying rape, how there's different types of rape, and there's one type of criminal rape and accidental rape, and how a woman is mind raping a man, and thus he couldn't help himself from raping her. So it's okay.
The student union says this group may look harmless, but what they're doing online is anything but.
They've been putting photos up of outspoken women on campus on their website, saying that they hope they get what's coming to them.
They're referring to this, a Texas-based website called Voice for Men. Under the heading of featured offenders, women at the U of T protests are outed for being bigots. A link to longer stories on the women says, take note of how easy it is to track these people down and document their actions. The website also grabs some of the protesters' Twitter feeds, like this one. Political position, kill all men, hail Satan.
We are absolutely 100% opposed to violence. We have no patience for it. We don't think it's a legitimate tool of political change.
But the U of T student union says female students are scared.
Your feeling is that the university should ban this group from being on campus?
Yes.
And why are you hesitant to say yes?
I feel I'm going to be targeted afterwards.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Derailment for dummies, the author, people.
Both sides feel harassed and bullied by the other, and neither shows any sign of backing down.
They seem to be wanting to bully us into silence, which is really kind of disgusting and deplorable.
We're still going to show up. We're still going to name names, even if they are willing to go online and harass and call for violence against us.
So far, the UFT administration has not agreed to the student union's request to kick the men's rights groups off campus. The protesters say they will continue their campaign against the MRAs.
Theoretically, though, a university is a place for an exchange of ideas, discussion, debate, all of that, but there's a lot of anger here.
There is, and it's kind of surprising to me that we're at this point where somehow that men's rights, issues that face men, and there are issues that face men about custody issues, about suicide rates, about the boys' education crisis, which we touched on the Inside Story earlier, that somehow that's taking away from women or attacking women. I think it's shameful to me that women and men can't talk about their individual problems without it being against somebody else.
Exactly. All right, thank you for that. Avery can be reached, by the way, on Twitter, the address @CityAvery. The Inside Story can be seen every Tuesday.